it's me again, Steve Kruger, down here in my studio basement. Now, last week I was talking to the young man, Andrew, who uploads my videos to YouTube. He does all the editing. We were kicking around an idea of what to do next on my next video. And he suggested a fall scene. Well, fall is just around the corner, so that's what you're going to be seeing. I'm going to be demonstrating a fall scene, and it turned out it's so long that I've got to cut it into 1, 2, maybe even 3 segments. I've never done that before, so it's going to be fun. Follow along with me through my trials and tribulations on this upcoming video. Here we go. All right, as I mentioned in my intro, this is going to be a process. I'm going to have maybe 2, 3, maybe even 4 separate videos or separate episodes. But to begin with, you're going to see me demonstrate the leaves and the sky in episode number 1. And then I'm going to cut it off. We're going to start with the face. Let me show that. I'm going to start with the face and then start doing the leaves and the sky. So take a look. Here we go. All right, here's my idea. I'm going to have a lady here. Could be my mom back in the 30s. She used to pick apples during the fall, and it's going to be a fall scene. So I don't know about her face. I did have, I had it turned looking at me, but it's going to be sideways. So here we go. Apples, and she's going to have a flowing dress, and this is going to be a fall scene with fall leaves here and maybe trees back here. So real quick, let's draw in the face. See if I can get in this. Okay. Okay, do I like that? Well, let's put in the eye. Maybe that's indented just a little bit too much here, so let's bring it out like so. Kind of makes her look young. Let's give her some eyelashes. And let's make her smiling. Let's bring the cheekbone down like so. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that. We'll put the ear up here. And she's going to have a headscarf. Okay, that's good. All right, I have the face drawn in, and there is no going back. Whenever I do a figure, any kind of figure, I always do the eyes. If you screw up the eyes, you screw everything up. So when I said no going back, I used a micron pen, 005. That's the smallest you can get. And let me show you. I inked in the eye. So now, if I tried to erase anything, that ink would still be there. So I've, let's say, crossed the Rubicon. Now I'm going to, just for fun, I'm going to give her blue eye. And let's just see here. Okay. All right, there we go. She's got a blue eye now. That's it. If I screw anything up, I can erase it, but I cannot erase this eye. It's locked in. So here we go. Okay, here is the finished product as far as the lady is concerned. I might do a little more work on her hand there, but this is it. I've got a rock. I'm going to have a rock wall come 2/3 over, but you don't, in my mind, you don't want to have a barrier all the way across. You got to let your eye travel through here. So it'll travel through the picket fence. And windy day. Now I've got to make the decision on what I want to do in the background. I'm going to have some fall leaves up here because this is fall. Orange, yellow, maybe some pale green leaves up here, and we'll go from there. I'll be back. Okay, I've got the lady all drawn in. I got the leaves here. The wind's going this way, and some of these leaves are blowing in the wind. Her skirt is blowing, so we've got some good motion, as I mentioned. I'll finish the rock wall, and I wanted to leave this space open. We don't want this too busy. This will be a barn. I push that way back. So real quick, let me zero in. Here she is. There's the leaves. And she's got her basket. It's a fall day. I'm going to, of course, put orange in the leaves here, but here we go. Okay, I'm laying in color, but I decided to put a branch here. So I've got ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Check out my video on this, how to do tree bark. I'm laying in water. Just plain water. And now we will drop in some pigment. I'm mixing the ultramarine blue and the burnt sienna. And we're going to make a tree branch. We'll do a real dark on the bottom of the branch. All right, now let's bring the branch up, like so. All right, we need to get a little contrast here. Again, just laying in water. And we'll bring this up, the branch up like so, and this branch, we're going to make this one real dark. Let's see what we can do here. All right, get contrast right here. Real dark. Okay, how we doing? Let's bring this branch out, down like so. Okay. This could be some shadow right here. Yeah, I'm liking that. Well, let's take a close look. Okay, we're getting the tree branch, and we'll let this dry. Okay, I made a mistake, or let's just say I kind of goofed up. But before I explain that, I just wanted to show you the paper I'm working on this lady. It's, let's get in real close. It's called Hahnemühle in German. Hahnemühle, I guess you'd say in English. And this is, it's a hot press. And I've found that I'm starting to like to work on hot press, and I'll show you why. I'll be right back. All right, as I explained, this is on expensive paper. It's 140-pound hot press paper. And let me show you what it can do. And one of the reasons I like hot press is because of this up here. Remember when just a couple segments ago I showed you how I was dropping in the leaves? They were way too dark. They were competing with the lady, and the leaves were dark, so I couldn't get any dark background to contrast against the dark leaves, if that makes sense. So I've been painting for a long time, and I've never done this, but I wanted to just see if I could fix that problem. So I came along with just Viva paper. I put the paper in water, and I lightly, and this is what you can do on this paper, and I didn't know you could do it. I did this off camera. I thought I'd ruin the painting by putting those leaves in too dark, but with plain water, just clean water, I wiped this up, and as you can see, all the pigment came up, and it pushed the paper mostly back to the white. So now I can put in lighter color leaves with a dark background, or dark shadows back there to make those leaves pop, which you'll see. I'll be demonstrating that. But that's a tip with hot press paper. Well, I imagine any hot press paper you could do this, but on this expensive paper, this was the first time I ever tried this. So I just, again, just wiped it with clean water and picked up most of the pigment, and now I can rework this. And the main thing, I let this dry for, maybe 5-6 hours. So this is bone dry, so I can drop in the leaves now and correct my mistake. So hopefully that's a good tip for you folks. Now, as I explained previously, I'm going to drop the color in kind of light. This, let me zero in on that. This is still wet, and see it's still running. I'm going to let it just kind of dry. Let me show you the colors I'm using. This is permanent rose, this is cadmium yellow, this is spring green. I'm going to use some burnt sienna. This is orange, and I forget this color. Well, you can use several different browns to mix in, maybe with the orange, but play around with create your own fall colors. So that's what I'm using. Now here is the spring green right here. See how light that is? I'm just going to let all this dry. Well, I'm going to keep on going. I'm not going to bore you doing all these leaves. So that's it, and I'll be right back to show you the leaves when they're done. Okay, here's the leaves. Now, this is kind of fun. This is a learning experience for me, and hopefully for you also. So I changed this up. Now remember, I was going to do something like this, and I was going to paint all these leaves. Well, forget that. The eye, if you have too many leaves, that pulls your eye away from the girl, the lady, the central focus of this picture. So I'm making the leaves kind of big blobs. Your eyes tell you these are leaves. Now, I'm changing things up. I got me a good eraser, and I'm going to erase all of this. All of these individual leaves. And I'm probably not going to bring the leaves out all this far. I might just stop right here and have those leaves blowing. Now see this this branch? I'm going to bring this branch up and bring it out like so, and maybe have another little branch with some leaves. So that's the idea. I'm changing this up as I go, and that's the fun thing. If you do things in segments, and I went up and had a smoke, had me a cigar, and just looked at this and figured out, well, this is all way too busy, so I'm going to extend this and this branch out. So as you see, I'm taking things in segments. I stop right here, look and see, do I like it? Yeah. And the key is the big blobs of, instead of a bunch of little leaves, I'm doing this, kind of the bigger blobs. That's not the right word, the bigger rendition of the leaves. So I'll erase all this and I'll be back. All right, back to the leaves. I don't want to spend too much more time on these leaves. So I'm drawing them in. Here's the leaves that are blowing in the wind. I'll finish that up and then we'll get to the sky. All right, as you remember, I had a silo here. I'm getting rid of that. I'm going to drop some fall colored trees here, maybe some pine trees, get some green in. Because this, of course, is the focal point. And this is kind of, I think I'll make this barn kind of a gray weathered barn, push it even further back. Okay, now it's time to put in the sky. I've got several videos on how to do skies using a spray bottle, and that's the technique I'm going to show you. But first of all, I'm going to protect these leaves. Let's say I want to paint blue, and I paint blue over these leaves. Well, of course, that would ruin it. So I'm using Mod Podge. And because I'm going to show you, I'm going to put a varnish, or I'm going to put Mod Podge, which is like a varnish, over this whole painting when we're finished here. But right now I've got Mod Podge satin, and these leaves are dry. So once this Mod Podge dries, it's going to be a resist, like masking fluid. So I'll be back. All right, now to the sky. This is where it's a leap of faith. If you're an oil painter, you can actually paint your sky. If you're a watercolorist, the watercolor basically paints itself, as you're going to see. Now I tape this in. This is going to be the bottom of a cloud. This is the roof line of the barn, so I don't want anything to go into there, into the roof line. The main thing, if you work with tape, run this tape over a linty towel, something like this, so that the paper doesn't come up when you pull the tape up. All right, this corner, let's see, I'll get this over. Ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and down here is cobalt blue. Start with clean water. And this is what's called the, what I call my spray bottle technique. You adjust this so the droplets come out, so you don't have a stream of water, you don't have mist. And the droplets allow for the pigment to go into the little droplets, but then you're going to have dry spots where, of course, the droplets don't hit. So you'll see. Now, I'm getting I'm going to get a nice gray. Let's see if I can get that in here. And okay, now that's too blue. There, we're getting a nice gray right there. Now the key is I want this sky back. I want a little bit of a mood. So we'll see what we can come up with here. Now I have Viva paper for blotting. And we'll bring the cloud up. Like so, bring it out. Okay, now we drop in some cobalt blue and we marry it up into the cloud. Now I'm going to have to pick this board up. I might go off camera here. But I'll try and keep it in the camera. So we're bringing that up. Okay, we got a cloud there. Okay. Now remember, I've got the Mod Podge there, so that's not going to screw up the leaves. So we'll bring this over. Okay, we'll blot a little bit. Now let's just drop this sky in like so. And we'll get a little bit more color to the clouds. Okay, how are we doing? Let's drop a little bit of gray in, like so, up here. And we'll bring this right up to, am I in the camera? Yeah, right up to her dress. All right. Now we let the water work. Okay, I'm liking that. Got clouds there. We'll bring this off. Okay, I can come back and do blue over here, but this will be the cloud. Now, I'm going to pull this tape up, and we'll see what we got. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's do. Now let's bring this down like so. Okay, just for fun, we'll bring the cloud out just a little bit further. And we'll run that down. In the camera, yep. Okay, I'm liking this dark spot right here. We'll leave this. And let's just bring that out just a little bit. All right, we'll let that dry. All right, I'm back. It's over 24 hours since I, so to speak, put this to bed, and I was thinking, well, actually, I have to confess, off camera, I dropped in a little more blue, and I blotted a little bit more to get this these clouds. So I apologize for that, but I want to stress, if you're going to this wasn't a real good demonstration of putting a cloud in. So go to my website, The Art of Watercolor, and check out, I've got several videos on how to do this spray bottle cloud technique. You can do leaves with this. You can do lots of different stuff with this spray bottle. But do not, I strongly suggest, do not do this on expensive paper. I apologize for this. I might come back and work on this on camera, make this a little bluer. But right now we're going to go to the barn. Okay, we've done the leaves, we've done the branches, we've done the sky. Now look at this sky. Boring, boring, boring. What can we do? I want to, let me zero in here and just show you. I want to make these clouds a little more contrast, so I'm going to drop in some more blue. So I will be right back. Okay, we're going to do the water bottle spray again. And I've got ultramarine blue, and I'm going to drop it in a little bit darker so we get some pizzazz here. Be right back. Okay, I'm laying in some paper. I want the white here. I don't want blue to come in here because this really accentuates these leaves. So I'm laying some paper in. I've got some clean water. And let's see, I got to get some Viva paper for blotting. Here we go. And this is a leap of faith. I sure don't want to screw this up, this painting up while kind of in the middle of it. So let's see. Got some spray. And we'll come in real dark. And we'll bring it down. See what we've got going here. Okay, this is good. Now, I'm going to have to pick the board up. We want to keep this cloud up here. And we'll bring this down. And we'll blot a little bit. Okay, let's see what we can do. Coming in real dark. Scary, scary here. Don't want to screw this up. Keep these clouds going. Okay, there we go. Getting a little contrast there. And let's bring it up just a little bit further. And we'll bring this up a little bit. And that's getting too close to the leaves. Now, I got to make these clouds really pop. Trying to hide this barn here. Okay, let's see what we got. And we got this running in her face. We don't want that. All right. What about here? Let's bring that down, get some definition. See if we can make a cloud here. All right. I think I'm liking it. Do I like this? Okay, knowing when to stop. This is getting into the leaves here. So we gotta make a little cloud. Bring this down. Okay, I'll be back. All right, it's still wet. I'm going to accentuate her nose and face. Just putting some blue, kind of making it look like a cloud effect down here. And we'll bring this up. So I'll finish this up off camera. Okay, I got to stop. I got to put this to bed. This is going to be segment number 1. We're going to quit after this. This is called a scrubber. And it's got this bristle point. Let's say you want to get rid of some of this gray. I'm dipping this in clean water. And you can bring the white back. See how that really pops? You don't want to do this too much. Okay, and let's... All right, that's making some... you bring the white of the paper back using this scrubber. So let's zero in on this. All right, this is cobalt blue. We've saved some clouds. You didn't want this just all blue, but you didn't want the clouds really popping. I'll be back to finally finish this up. Now, as I mentioned in my intro, this painting is taking so long, I've got to cut it into 3, I might even have to do 4 segments regarding this painting. But it's kind of fun. I'm learning a few things, and hopefully I'm being able to pass on some good tips to you folks. So video number 1 is just going to be the leaves and the sky. Video number 2 is going to be the barn and the meadow. And as you can see, I progressed this far, and then I decided to stop and decide where I want to cut this video. So here we go on video number 1. Hopefully I'll be seeing you in video number 2 when I demonstrate the barn, the meadow, things like that. So everyone have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hi, it's me again, Steve Kruger, down in my studio basement. Now, this is the 2nd episode coming up on my ongoing, we'll call it an ongoing fall series of a lady picking apples. Now, if you're just tuning into this one and you haven't seen my original, my first episode, please go to that and that'll get you started. This is a long video, so away we go. All right, we're now approaching segment 2. Segment 1, we did the leaves and the sky. The second segment, which we're about to do, is I'm going to show you or demonstrate the barn and this meadow right here. So that's segment number 2. Now I got a little ahead of myself. Segment number 3, which isn't going to be, of course, in this segment, I'm going to demonstrate how to do the trees, lay in the water here, and do these background trees right here. So here we go. Segment number 2, the barn and the meadow. All right, it's time to paint the barn. We're going to, as I said, we're going to paint this red, but not too bright. So let me give you a tip. As I said, I'm trying to pass on as many tips as I can on this this demo. That's why this is turning out to be so long. But here, this is called liquid frisket or masking fluid. You can get this, go to my website on Dick Blick catalog. You can buy this at the Dick Blick catalog. I show you where to get that, all that good stuff. Now, what is this? This is a McDonald's straw. Yes, I did have a Coke. I didn't steal it. And you'll notice it's cut to a point. So get yourself a McDonald's straw. I like the McDonald's straw. And cut it to a point. Like, let's see if I can see that point. That's how I'm going to make these slats right here. Now this is a resist. Masking fluid, once I get it on, I'll paint the barn red, let everything dry, and then peel the masking fluid off. And you'll have these little slats. So first of all, I'm going to put, let me show you how that looks. Okay. We'll make this I'm putting the masking fluid in, this is the hayloft window, how you get the hay up. So we'll paint that black. Or, I don't know what we'll do with this. Now, this will be hard to show you, but I'm going to go right down this line right here, this slat, and let me show you that. Okay, see, I don't know if you'll see that slat. That's the masking fluid. With this with this straw, you can get a real narrow line, if that makes sense. Oops, I should have started over here, but now this is going to be where a slat is missing, so this is kind of wide here. And we'll do some more slats here. Just go right down. Okay, you get the idea. Okay, here we go. Let me show you this. You can see where the masking fluid is. And we're just going to do it. Lay in some plain water. Now I masked the handle to her basket along with this this apple right here. Oops. Okay, whoops, let me get, well, I don't have the red here in the kit. Well, let me move this over. Let's see if I can get this. There we go. Okay, how's that? Here we go. And I'm coming in light. You can always let this dry and then paint in a little more red. So we'll just see how this, let's see, that's her little finger sticking out there. And I did masking fluid along the, oops, oh crap. Well, we can get rid of that. I did masking fluid along the little hillside here. Okay, now I'm picking up the board and I'm letting this run. Letting it run down and blotting just a little bit. Okay, this is really light. I'm gonna, oops, don't want that glare. We're gonna drop in some real red and let it run down. And see what we can get. Got a little buckle here on the paper. Okay, so when you come in heavy with watercolor like this, the dark red, it always dries a little bit lighter. So just remember that. Okay, that's kind of cool. Kind of neat. All right. I'm going to let this dry just a little bit. I'll be back. Okay, semi-dry. Let's see if we can get a bloom right here. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. I'm not going to pick it up. I want it to just run. Let me do another bloom right here. Okay, we'll let it dry some more. Okay, I don't like this barn. So we are going to use Fire Engine Red. To me, the barn's wimpy. And I don't like wimpy stuff. It's kind of almost pink. And so I'm dropping in water. Okay, here we go. Let me get this. Okay, here's fire engine red. If we're going to have a red barn, darn it, we're going to have a red barn. Okay, I don't know, that just makes me smile. A nice red barn, but we're still going to make it kind of weather beaten. So let's see here. Okay, I'm tipping it up so everything runs down. Got my Viva paper. Okay, let's blot a little just for fun. Okay, there's a red barn. Now we'll let this dry a little bit and then we'll drop a bloom in and, you know, kind of get that weathered look. Okay, that's real dark there. And we'll do real dark there. Okay, I'll be back. All right, I'm going to peel away the masking fluid. You can use your finger, you can use an eraser. Let's get this up here. And sometimes I use my fingernail. Okay. All right, here's the slats. Now they're screaming at you, all this white, so we got to get rid of that, and I'll be back. Okay, I've got some cobalt blue here, and that's what I'm going to use for the shadow. If you put blue right over the red, that turns it kind of purple. And there's a lot of purple in the shadow. I a lot of times use purple in a shadow, so we're just kind of trying to make this pop here. So you get the idea. I'll be back. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, I'm going to use a mixture of ultramarine blue and burnt sienna to get a real dark. And let me zoom in. This is going to be a slat that's kind of missing from the barn. This is just kind of make the barn pop a little bit. Okay, and then we got a slat here. So I'll keep doing that. I'll be back. All right, I'm spending a lot of time on this barn. I'm sorry, but these white slats are just kind of bugging me. So I'm just making them disappear, or I'm pushing them back by adding, by adding some more, some more red. And I'm just going to add some more red, but leave part of it white. I don't want to get into this handle of her basket. Okay, we'll let that dry. All right, I'm back. I got to wrap this barn up. So I'm blotting here to get back to the original red. And then I'm dropping in real red. So it's kind of like a reflection, maybe the sun bumping up, letting this stay kind of light. Then I'm going to put some hay in the hay loft here. And we'll call this barn quits. Okay, one last look. I'm bringing the white. This is a dry brush. And I'm bringing that slat out from under the red. Let's bring this slat and this slat. See how that's working? All right. Okay, one more time. Let's do a bloom here. And let's do a bloom there. Just to get a little bit of weathered barn look. Okay, that is it on the barn. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, finally, we're finished with this barn. I put some brown, I think that's burnt sienna I put in. This warms up the barn by putting brown on the roof, and with watercolor, everything is backlit. And so this, I left this white. If you lost this white, you would, it loses its sparkle, I guess is the word. So always leave white when you're putting dark against dark. Leave a little bit of white. Otherwise, things just disappear. So I did the same here. And yellow ochre here for the hayloft, and a real dark up in the corner here so you get contrast. Here's the bloom over here. This pushes the barn back and warms everything up. So on to the next. Let me get you just a real close up real quick. Yeah, I might get rid of that there. You know, you always come back, and knowing when to stop, that's the key. And we're stopping on the barn. Okay, I'm having a lot of fun doing this. Step by step, we're taking this. And that's the way watercolor is. It's a process. You start with this white piece of paper, scares the hell out of you, and you start bringing everything to life. And that's what I love about watercolor. Now, I did the hardest part, which was the leaves. In my mind, the hardest part was the leaves. Second hardest was the sky, the clouds. Third was the barn. Now, this is the fourth hardest right here. We can't make this foreground here too busy. We don't want to compete against the lady. What are we going to do back here? What are we going to do here? So right here is what we're going to do next. And away we go. All right, this is next. This is going to be a meadow or a field coming down. Now, I don't want whatever I paint in here to mix in with the dress. So I'm using, like I showed you, the masking fluid and the straw. Am I in the camera? Yeah. Laying in these rocks so that the meadow doesn't bleed into these rocks here. And using the point, this is very important right here, her dress. Let's see, just do that, bring it down. Like so. Now I've got to do the basket right here. And let's see her fingers. Okay, I laid this in kind of thick, so it's going to take a while to dry. And let's see, it's lunchtime, so I'll be back. And then we'll decide, I'll show you what we want to do with this meadow right here. Okay. Here we go. We're going to lay in the meadow. I put in a little orange also, just for fun. So I'm just doing the water coming down like so. Okay, a little bit of burnt sienna and the green gold. See what we can get. That's coming in pretty dark. Okay, let's see. Let's drop in a little orange. And bring that down like so. Now let's get some straight green. Now, as you can see, I'm laying that in real thick. And we're going to let it run. Up against the basket. All right. Is that a little bit too dark? Let's drop in a little water. And this is just plain clean water. Well, it's kind of dirty water. But we'll run it like so. Now let's bring this down. And what do we want to do? Let's put in a little orange just for fun. Okay. We don't want this too dark, so I'm adding water. Don't want that splattering up. Okay. We're going to do the green gold right up against the basket. Now let's bring it down. I got to stay in the camera. Okay, I'm liking that. When that dries, that'll be kind of neat. Let's do something right here. Now let's run it over this spot right here, because we got to get contrast. Where's my brush? Now we're going to lay in some orange. And we're going to bring that down. Okay, are we liking that? Yeah, let's do some more blotting. Now let's do some burnt sienna right along here. We want something really dark. And we'll run that down. Okay, do I like this? Well, this is running. Gotta work fast here. Let's see. It's running into the barn here, so there we go. Okay, that's good. Now we need something dark. Just mixing some colors randomly. Let's let that run. And we'll drop in some dark here. Now I'm getting some green. Okay, what do we do? So, real light, we don't want anything too busy up against her dress. Okay, yeah, we'll lighten that up just a little bit, get some contrast. This is running into the barn, that's ticking me off. I'm adding a little orange here. Yeah, let's just okay, I'm liking that. And this real light up against the dress right here. Get some contrast. Okay, that's good. We've got some definition going on there. Now, what do I want to do? We'll just do green, kind of a greeny orange here. Up against the rocks. What are we going to do? Let's make a little path going up like so. Kind of let your eye. Yeah, I'm liking that. That comes down. That. This is too dark. Okay. Let's accentuate the path here. And we'll bring it out just a little bit. Real dark along the path. All right. Now I'm holding the board up and just letting things run. Okay, let's do something here. Again, knowing when to stop, knowing when to stop. Break it up just a little. Okay, do we like this? Well, let's add a little color. Just a little orange. Okay, gotta stop, gotta stop. Okay, stop, let it dry. All right, I'm inserting this this segment of the video because I forgot to explain how we got these rocks. So I'll be right back. All right, now I'm going to demonstrate how I got those little pebbles or those little rocks in the meadow. Use masking fluid or liquid frisket. Use a straw. Dip your straw into the masking fluid and put it like so. Now, a couple years ago, I grabbed this out of the kitchen drawer and used this and got in a little trouble with my wife because, of course, I ruined this colander. So I'm going to put my head in front of the camera and blow this. You blow pretty hard, and depending on, well, you have to practice this, how high up you hold it, how close, depends, makes the drops bigger or smaller, but play around with that. So I'm going to put my head in front of the camera and blow. Well, I blew some off there. Let's, okay. Now, I practiced over here, but here's what I just did right here. And that's how you do it. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. You'll just have to practice, play around with that. That's a good tip. All right, here the droplets of the masking fluid are dry, and you can get a close look there. Now, I forgot to show you my palette on this. Let's see, I use green gold, that's that. Transparent yellow, burnt sienna, some cadmium orange, and some yellow ochre. Now, I didn't use much yellow ochre. I should have used that. I like that color. I might use that on the next part. So here you have it, and I used the tip of the straw to make the grass effects up next to the barn. So away we go. Okay, I'm back. Let's do a bloom right here. See what happens. And we'll do a bloom here. And one here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in. Okay, the bloom's working there. It's working here. Drop a little water right there. And right here. That's working right there. This is working here. The bloom's coming along here. Okay, we're stopping. Okay, we got to get rid of this white. So I've got the red paint, and we are going to marry this trick is to marry the red up with the barn. So we've got to feather that in. Okay, let's see. Okay, what do you think? We'll let that dry, and that'll be it. I'll be back. All right, let's see what we got here. Everything's dry, and I'm pulling up the masking fluid. Okay, these are too white here, these little grass things, so I'll color those to push them back. But see, we brought the grass up into the barn, you know, to pull the hill forward. So this is what we've got. Take this off from the dress. Okay, let's zero in. Now this white is really standing out, so I have to push all these rocks back. And I just wanted to show you, remember I dropped that bloom in, that little bit of water? See how you get kind of like a grass look here and right here. Okay, I will be right back. All right, I used masking fluid and the straw to mask in the gate right here, and to mask along her dress, we're going to do the meadow over here. Now, if you remember when I first drew this video out, this was kind of long, so I cut the paper shorter so that I could video a lot easier. So, if that makes sense. So, here we go. Let me show you, let me zero in. Now look at these rocks. They're busy, busy, busy. Now I'm not going to do all of them, but I just want to show, let's say you, let's get this over here so you can see. Okay, here's my palette, and let's say you don't really like some of the rocks. Let me show you how you can just disappear them. This rock up here, and we'll just disappear it. Right like so. Let's see. I did a little pencil shadow here, but I think I can erase that. So let's say you want to accentuate one of the rocks. You can either use a pencil to do a shadow right here, or you can come along and see how that's making these little rocks, that's accentuating them. If you can see that, hopefully you can see that. So you can make a rock disappear. Let's make this one disappear. Bingo. So if this is too busy and you only want a couple of these rocks, you can make them go away. And that's just a little tip. We will let this masking fluid dry, and then we'll do, let's get back to here. And then we'll do the meadow over here, and then I might do some trees up here. We'll do trees up here, the rocks, and that's what we'll do to finish this off. So I'll have another segment after this. All right, let's get this background in here. This is kind of busy. We're not going to make this all that busy. So I'm going to use some of that yellow ochre. Let me get this over so you can see it. Okay, here we go. Just plain water. And we're dropping in some burnt sienna and a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay, bring a little bit, is this in here? Yeah, bring a little bit of this green in. Oops. I want more green. Come on, come on, come on. Okay. And we've got the masking fluid in here. And we're getting a little bit of granulation. This green isn't coming up here. Let's do that. Okay, there we go. That's kind of dark. So we're just letting this run all the way down. Put this up against her dress. Am I in the camera? Yep. Okay. And that's it. Let's pick up, time out. Let me get, let me show you that up close. Now back. Now we're going to run this up, see what happens. Got to stay in the camera here. And now we run it down. Sorry about that. I got to stay in the camera here. Now, I don't think we want another path. We don't want this over here. So, what are we going to do? We're going to drop in just a little orange. Mix that in. Let that Now I'm laying this flat. Well, actually not. Let me get rid of this glare. Okay, there we go. Now, where's my paper towel? Got to dry this brush off. And we'll... What do you think? What do you think? We're going to let this run again. I don't know how this is coming across on the camera. Yeah, we're getting, well, okay. Kruger, you got to know when to stop. We'll just drop in a few. Okay, that's good. Okay, don't want this video to be too long. Okay, I'll be back. See where this is wet and this is dry, so we're getting a line right here. And I know I just love doing blooms, so let's do a bloom right, just plain water, right here. And right there. See if we can get anything going there. All right. Now, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, and let me get this down a little bit, and let me zoom in. Now, I'm not, this video's so long, I'm not going to go through all this grass, but I'm just painting it brown. See how that pushes the grass back? And with the with these rocks, I'm just painting them kind of just a little bit of gray. So that pushes the rocks back. So we're going to wrap this up, and before I close, I'm going to show you where I get my paint. So I'll be right back to wrap this up. We're coming to the end of episode 2. Now that's where I demonstrated the barn and the meadow. And I forgot to, tell you on the barn where I got the fire engine red. Now I was using quinacridone red rose for the barn, and I forgot to mention that. And that, I didn't like that color, so I went to fire engine red. Now to get to that, to find out where you get these 35 milliliter tubes, these are just great. They're not that expensive. And rather than getting these small little tubes where you just squeeze out a little because you don't want to use that much, you're real, what's the word, parsimonious on these little tubes, get yourself these big tubes. And you get them at, do search for Journey Art Stuff, and that, there used to be a company called Cheap Joe's Art Stuff. They went out of business, but Journey Art Stuff is carrying on with Cheap Joe's tradition. These are made in America. Let's see, and let's see, like this 35 milliliter is only 15 bucks. $15 for one of these, wherever it is. Burnt sienna. So, and again, in closing, my palette on the meadow, I forgot to mention that, was yellow ochre, transparent oxide yellow, cadmium orange, and I use this green gold quite a bit. So now I'm going to close out. I'll be back. All right, folks, we've come to the end of episode 2. Episode 1, we did the leaves, we did the sky. Episode 2, we had the barn. I kind of agonized over this barn, but we made it through. And then the meadow. Now, episode 3, I got ahead of myself. I've painted this in. I'll demonstrate that in the upcoming episode number 3. So I hope everyone had as much fun as I did. Kind of learning as we go. So see you folks on episode number 3. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hi, it's me again, Steve Kruger, down here in my studio basement. And episode 3 is coming up. Now, this is a process, and I'm walking through this painting. Who knows how many episodes? I might have 5, I might even have 6 episodes working through this painting. You're going to see how I change things, how I change my mind, how I work and demonstrate various techniques. So away we go. Now we're going to do episode 3. We're going to start episode 3 by laying in these trees. And that's just about all we're going to do. Let me show you that. This is what I'm going to demonstrate, laying in these trees. And episode 4, we'll get to the background, things like that, maybe do some cloud work, things like that. So here we go. As I mentioned in my introduction, this is going to be episode number 3. Episode number 1, we did the leaves in the sky. Episode 2, we laid in the meadow. And episode 3, we're going to zero in right here. We're going to put in some leaves, some trees right here. And back here, I don't know what we're going to do, but that's what we're going to start right now. Here's the palette. Here's the paint that I'm going to use. This is burnt sienna. This is sap green. This is cadmium orange. And I think this is cad yellow. So, going to use those colors to create leaves. We don't want everything orange. We've got to have some green in here to contrast with the reds. So, here we go. Okay, to start, in this corner over here, we're going to use masking fluid. I'm going to lay in some masking fluid with a straw to create some tree trunks here. Now, go to my second episode, and I describe how to use this masking fluid. So this is what we're going to do right now. I'm just using a McDonald's straw, and we're laying in. Oops, that's kind of thick. We'll bring that up, and let me zero in on that. So we'll let that dry. I'll be back. Okay, I forgot. I used masking tape, painter's tape, and I ran this tape over a linty cloth so it won't pull up the paper when I pull the tape up. So that is protecting the barn and protecting the meadow down here. I also forgot I've got to bring some grass, little grass up right here. Okay, with this straw, I'm just bringing in some masking fluid, real thin. You can hardly see it. Let me see if I can zero in on that. Right down here. This is some grass coming up. Just like so. Okay, the preparation for this little space right here is going to take longer than it's going to take for me to lay in the leaves. But go to my second episode, and I show you how to lay in some masking fluid into a colander, whatever it is, and I'm going to blow that so I get these little dots or little splatter of masking fluid. So I'm going to get in front of the camera. In fact, I'm going to move the camera away. Okay, and there are the little dots. We'll let that dry, the little dots of masking fluid. Okay, what's the plan? The plan is to zero in on this little area right here. We don't want it too busy. We don't want it to detract, but we also want the eye to go there and rest on it for a little bit. So the reason I put the masking fluid in was I'm going to come in dark, let it dry, and then pull the masking fluid away, and then you can drop your fall colors in there, your yellows and oranges, things like that. So that's the plan, and let's give it a shot. All right, I've got my green, what was that, sap green and burnt sienna, and let me show you. Let's just take a look at this. Yeah, that's a pretty dark, maybe a little bit more green. Let me get that in here. Okay, here we go. We got the spray bottle. We got lots of pigment on this brush. Now let's drop in a little more green. Okay, a little bit more brown. Really darken it up over there. Okay, we let that dry. All right, it's still wet. Let's take a close-up look. So there you have it. Walk away from it. Don't try. I'm not going to try and introduce any more colors until this dries. And then I'm going to come in dark real down here to make the, I'll put little grass things coming up there, so we got to make that pop. So I'll be back. Everything's drying, but I mentioned I got to make this little corner pop. So let's see, what am I mixing? I'm mixing a little bit of green and a little burnt sienna. Let me show you that again. There. And a little burnt sienna. And coming in pretty dark. We can always add a little water, which I'm doing right now. Just in this little corner. And we'll bring that all the way down through there. Bring it up. And let's darken that. Make these tree trunks pop a little. Okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to add, just winging it here, going to add just a little bit of red. Off to the side here. Okay, am I liking that? Gonna get rid of this over here. And that's a little too dark. Gonna blot. Don't like it, don't like it. Okay, what are we gonna do here? Let's put in just a little bit of orange. Gotta have a little color. Do I like that? No. I'm going to blot this. We'll come back and maybe do something else. Okay, I'm back real quick. I got a little sap green here. Put that up against the red barn. And that'll be a good and we're going to lighten it up a little. Okay, we'll leave a little white right there so the eye can go through. Okay, let's peel this tape off very gently and see what we've got. Slowly, slowly. Don't want to rip the paper. That would be a disaster. All right, well, let's take a... Okay, I'm going to go upstairs and have a little lunch, let this really dry so when I pull this masking fluid up, it won't pull any of the paint up. Kind of like this. Let's show that again. This green up against the red, that's kind of cool. Okay. Okay, everything's dry back here, and let's take a closer look. Got the green right there. Now, we're going to peel off all the masking fluid. And this is what's called getting sky holes. All right, we got a tree trunk coming up here. Now we can drop in some yellows and oranges because they will be surrounded by this dark and it'll make it pop. Now I'll add some fall colors in here. And let's just start with this yellow, see how we like that. Drop that in there. That's kind of cool. And we'll bring the yellow up. And let's drop in a little orange into that yellow. This right there. Okay, let's see over here. Stick with the yellow. Oops. Yeah, I don't like that. Just a sec. Let me blot that. I'm laying in the pigment pretty dark here. I mean, not pretty dark, pretty heavy. I'm laying in the pigment. Okay, over here, let's do solid orange. Drop in a little orange over here. Okay, how we doing? Let's bring the yellow up. And we'll leave some sky holes. These little dots here, the little white. Okay, we'll let that dry. Okay, let's drop in some burnt sienna on this tree trunk here. and see how we can do on that. And let's add a little dark. There we go. Got to get some contrast here. Okay, let's, what am I doing here? I don't like, we've got to worry about the horizon line here. This straight across brings the horizon line out too far. See this? So I'm going to lower this a little bit. And kind of show that the hill is coming down. Just using this scrubber brush. And let's get it right up against the pine. Okay, that's bringing the hill down so that it lowers the horizon line. Now we got to worry about where we're going to put the horizon line over here. So I'll be back. Okay, I don't want to spend too much more time on these trees, but watch what you can do with your 005 micron ink pen. See how small that tip is? You can drop in some real dark, just to kind of, when you drop this real dark ink up against the yellow or orange, see how that pops? I got to bring this up real close. So we've got our sky holes, and when you surround the, one more time, I'll just put a little dark around this orange here. And right in there. See how that really makes it pop. And I also left some white right here. When dark meets other dark, just leave a little white. Everything's backlit. Okay, one last thing. This is all kind of even here. So I'm going to put a pine tree back here. And we're going to raise that up. I want to leave this this dark moody cloud here. So let's just, oops, let's get a little, don't want a big blob. Okay, that brought that up. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, that's kind of cool. We'll just leave that. That adds a little bit of, I don't know what the word is, a little motion, symmetry, whatever. Okay, this is the end of episode 3. Just the trees right here. That's what we zeroed in on. The episode 4, I'm going to do some background back here, drop in the lake. Maybe do some work back here. But again, end of episode 3. I hope you had fun watching this, and see you in episode 4. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Hi, it's me again, Steve Kruger, down here in my studio basement. Now, coming up is episode number 4. It's going to be a fun demonstration. I changed my mind in a few places. You're going to see some new techniques. And winter is just around the corner. It's still fall, and this is a fall video. Might be 6 episodes, I don't know. But this is episode number 4. It's going to be fun. Here we go. All right, as I mentioned in my intro, this is going to be episode number 4. Episode number 3, we laid in these trees. Episode number 4, I'm going to demonstrate how I laid these trees back in here, how I laid in the lake. Now, before I start demonstrating, off camera, I put this little hill in here, and you'll see how I changed my mind on that. And off camera also, to begin with, I put in, I used some masking fluid to put in some little waves here and to do a little work on the shore. You're going to see how I changed my mind on that. I don't want to bore you with that because I, so to speak, erased all that and reworked it. So that's going to be kind of fun watching how I did that, how I changed my mind. So episode number 4, here we go. All right, let's take a look at the big picture. We're going to make this Lake Michigan, or a big lake back here. Bring the water all the way over here. And I still don't know what I'm going to do over here. I put some masking fluid here. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. But we're going to go big. We're going to go Prussian blue. I hardly ever use Prussian blue. But we don't want this same blue down here. So we're coming in kind of light to begin with. I can always come along and darken this. And I don't want to come right up against her. Can you see this? Oh, I'm sorry. Here we go. This is her, the shirt that she's wearing, so I don't want it to touch that, and I don't want to touch the dress here. Now her dress, I think, is going to be a, I don't know, it's going to be some sort of blue. So I'm not using the same blue. I'm using Prussian blue here, and we'll use a different blue. I haven't decided yet what to do on her dress. Now, I did some masking fluid and did use the straw here to make little grass come up. And I put some Prussian blue on a paper here. And that's how I'm doing this. Okay, now we come up next to the, whatever this was, a hay crop right here, but we leave white. We don't put the blue right up against this green here. Okay. Maybe I'll just lighten it up a little bit. Get some kind of reflection there. I can always come back and do darker. So let's bring the blue over here. Right up against the barn. Am I in the camera? No, I'm not. Sorry about that. Okay. Get your act together, Kruger. Okay. That kind of brings your eye across. And we'll kind of make this dark. Sorry, got to go back and forth here. Okay, when this dries, it'll dry lighter. Got a little puddle going right here. So bring that off a little bit. Okay, be back. Okay, let's take the tape off and check out our horizon line. Okay, there we go. That's going to be a lake. I'm going to put some trees back here. And off camera, I cheated a little. I raised this, I raised all these trees up just by putting in a little bit of orange, a little bit of green, things like that. Let me show you that. So I just raised that by just putting some dots, making leaves. And here again is the horizon line. When we let this all dry, I'll peel this masking fluid away, and that'll brighten up these. This could be waves back in here. Okay, we pull the tape up. Here's the horizon line. A little bit of it came over here. So now I've got to put masking fluid here to create a shoreline. So I'm going to turn this upside down. And I am going to get some masking fluid. Oops. And we're going to create a shoreline. Kind of irregular on the masking fluid. This is where you get into real detailed. And we'll okay, I'll be back. Well, take a look at that. And that's going to be the shoreline along here. Okay, as you can see, again, I use this straw with a point and the masking fluid. Now, to put down the white, you can never get the white back. That's why you want to throw down some masking fluid. And then when you put the trees in, of course, you pull, like I did over on the other side, by the barn, you pull the masking fluid away, and you've got some white dots here to drop in your yellows and oranges. But we're going to use the, oops, wait a minute. Okay, sorry about that. We're going to use this again to blow in some more masking fluid up here. And I'll do that off camera. You've seen me do that, so I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. This is all dry. Now, I live in Wisconsin and near Lake Michigan, and they have dunes like this. So I'm going to bring the water over and kind of create this like this is the shoreline down by Lake Michigan. Let's see if we can make that work. Okay, get some. Okay, we got to feather that in. Okay, let's see, bring this over. Okay, I'm liking that, except this is showing through a little bit, so I got to darken that. Okay, I will be back. Okay, now we're going to bring the background here to life. Now the idea is, let me show you, let's see. Show you the big picture here. We've got, this is real heavy over here. This is, of course, going to be the central interest. All of this is in your face. I want your eye, once we get this, like I said, this is probably Lake Michigan, something like that. And once we get the trees back here, your eye is just going to flow back there after it bounces around on all this frontal stuff. So that's the plan. I'll be right back. Okay, to begin with, we're going to go dark down here, real dark, so that when we drop in color, once I peel this masking fluid off, it's going to really pop. So I've got, what do I have? I've got Old Sienna, Hooker's Green Light, and I think this is Viridian right here, but just it's going to be a dark color. So here we go. Let me get this. And I'm mixing that, where'd it go? Old Sienna and the Hooker's Green. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, that's kind of cool. That's going to be really dark right in there. So I'm going to lay just a little bit of water in here. And we're coming in dark. This again, now this is a leap of faith right here. Because again, if you're an oil painter, you can just paint in your colors. If you screw up, you can wipe it off and try again. So let's see, let's just do a little bit more water. Get some of this brown up there. Okay, we're going to let that dry. Okay, I'm back. And I came in dark and I just blotted this a little bit to get this contrast here. I don't know if I like that, but what I did, we got to have a shoreline. So where did I got my yellow ochre. Let me see if I can, and now I've got masking fluid along here, so when I pull that up, this brown, a lot of it will disappear to white, but that gives you the look of a shoreline. So, okay, we are going to let this dry and I'll bring in some more color, some different color. Okay, what am I doing? I'm mixing some sepia with chromium oxide green. And let me show you that color. That's kind of that's another real dark. So again, we got to come in dark so that when we drop in the light colors, it'll really pop. So I'm just dropping in a little water, and we will mix in a little green with this. Okay, do I like that? Let's drop in okay. Let's come along here. And I'm not going to bring it up against her dress. Okay, there's our dark colors, and put a little more in here. Know when to stop, know when to stop. A little bit more sepia. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, everything's dry back here. And let's take up all of the masking fluid, see what happens. Okay, these are the waves in the lake right here. Okay, what do we got here? Maybe I put too much masking fluid in, but we'll see what we can do with this. Be right back. First of all, we've got to get rid of all these. I don't like that look, so we are going to disappear. I'm getting my Prussian blue, and we will make these go away. Leave a few. Okay, and here we go. Get rid of this one. And make this real dark. Make these little rocks pop. Okay, I'm kind of liking that. Now, too dark, so let's see what we can do here. Okay, I'm liking that. Be back. Okay, this is the shoreline, and it's a little bit too white. We've got to tone it down with, let's see, just a little yellow ochre. And that's sepia. We'll just bring it down just a little bit like so. Okay, back to the yellow ochre. Okay, let's run the yellow ochre up like this. This is kind of a, the shoreline is coming up like this. Okay. Now let's drop in some color. We got to start somewhere, so let's do a little bit of orange. And that's too much. Okay, that's good. A little bit of yellow we'll bring up here. Let's get a little bit of red. Drop that in here a little bit. Okay. Yeah, we're getting a shoreline now. I'll be back. Okay, I don't like this shoreline, so I'm dropping in with this scrubber just some water to get it back to kind of the white, kind of the sand dune look. Okay, now we've got to get some tree, we're going to do some pine trees right back here. I'll be back. Okay, here we go with some pine trees. And that's a little too dark. There we go. Mixing a little burnt sienna and hooker's green. Need a little more burnt sienna there. Yeah, we got to get some upward motion there. And let's bring this one way up. That's a big pine tree. Okay, that's a little too dark. I'm going to blot. Yeah, that pushes that back a little bit. Okay, we're getting there. I'll be back. Coming in with a pen, my, what is this? My 005 pen. And just making some tree branches. Coming up like so. Okay, we got the yellow, we got the orange. Let's just drop in a little bit of red. Okay. Got to get some definition along the shoreline. Okay, let everything dry. I'm going to set this aside and just take a look at it. Okay, let me show you. This is what it looks like. We got the wall here. We're going to get to her later, probably in my 4th episode. But now we're going to put in the sky. We're going to take these clouds and bring them over here. Got my palette, and I've mixed burnt sienna, ultramarine blue to get a gray. And I ran out of blotting paper. I used Viva. So I'm going to use some Vanity Fair napkins for blotting because they have, there's no indentations here that will imprint on the paper. Okay, I have my blotting paper, got my spray bottle, and let me see if I can get this palette in here. Well, I can't get the palette in, but you saw that I mixed burnt sienna and ultramarine blue. So we're bringing the cloud over. And we'll bring that over like so. Okay, now we've got to drop in some, what I have, cobalt blue. Bring that in. Now remember, I've got these leaves covered with Mod Podge. So we'll bring the sky up next to her scarf. And we'll now, do we want to blot? Yeah, I'll blot just a little right here. And this is a little dark, so now we got to bring the clouds up a little bit. Okay, let's show off the sky a little bit. That's a little bit too blue. I'm going to pick the board up, and we'll let the sky form itself, the clouds. And let's darken this just for fun. I know maybe I shouldn't do this, but we'll see what happens. Leap of faith here. Bring this out. Well, what do you think? What do you think? Bring this over. Okay, that's going to look good. And let's bring this over just a little bit, make it a little bit darker. Don't like that. Okay, I gotta know when to stop again, so. And let's bring that put a little bit more mood into this this cloud. Okay, what do you say? Let's let this dry, see what we got. Okay, let me show you what we got. Yeah, those are pretty good clouds. I came in and put a little bit of streaks here, and I did a few streaks over here to bring the clouds down. Now it's still wet. Do we want to jazz it up? Let's jazz it up just a little bit. Okay, I'm in the camera. All right, when that dries, it'll dry lighter. It's pretty dark right now. Okay, another thing. Here we go, know when to stop. This is kind of dark right here. Let's use the scrumble brush. Make sure it's clean. And we'll lighten this up. There we go, that cloud's, can you see that okay? Then we'll bring, now you don't want to do this too hard or you could scratch through the paper, but this is pretty good paper. Okay, that's brightening it up. Let's write here. And Okay, all right. Let's zero in. See, this is already drying. Got your clouds there. Let's see if we can bring that up. Yeah, there we go. I might have to fix that. Well, I'll just do it while we're on camera. We'll bring the sky down just a little bit, break up that cloud. Bring this out, little dots. Okay, let's look over here. Brighten up the cloud a little bit there. Okay, well, let's take a look at this. Okay, good. We brought the clouds over, kind of thinned them down. They were kind of up like this. Yeah, we got a little motion there in the clouds. Oops. Now this is just, there's a little bit of blue on this, in this water here that I'm dropping in. Let me zero in on that. And we'll do that over here. Just get rid of this screaming white. Okay, oops, let me get that. Okay, I dropped it in over here, in there. That kind of pushes it back. Yeah, I'm liking that. Now, while I'm on camera, no, I have to find my Prussian blue. I'll be right back. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, with watercolor, sometimes you can go back and fix things. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you go back to fix things. You screw things up. And like I always said, know when to stop. But this water here was just way too blue. So I'm going to try and get some variations in this. Now again, this is masking fluid or painter's tape, and I ran it over a linty towel using the scrubber. We're just going to get rid of some of this, what I use, Prussian blue. I don't have too much water to work with here, so I got to be careful. And I want your eye to go to this water, so let's bring it back a little bit more. Now let's see what we got. Okay, do we like that? Yeah, I'm liking that. Of course, I'm going to have to let this dry, bone dry. And we might drop a little reflection into that, just a touch. Leave this dark, leave this light here. Do we want to do anything over here? Nah, we'll just leave that. I just reviewed my previous segment on this. When I laid this tape down, I said it was masking tape or masking fluid. Forget it was not masking fluid. I did not use masking fluid. I meant to say masking tape or painter's tape. So that's what I used. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm living dangerously here. This is expensive paper, so I'm trying to get this down to the white of the paper. And that's going to, let's feather this a little bit here. Get this up against her dress. And we'll bring this over. Now, the whiter the paper, the more the reflection is going to pop. That's the kind of the idea. Okay, let's. Now, while it's wet, I don't know if I should be doing this, but we'll see. We're going to drop that orange in again, right here. Make it a little darker. Okay, I'm liking that. Get the red over here. Okay. Am I liking that? Yeah. Okay, this is the end of episode number 4. And I have to admit, I thought I really screwed up here, but I think dropping these reflections in really, let's just show, really make the woods back here pop. That draws your eye out of the picture. Now, let's talk. I've been having fun doing this. It's longer. This was longer than I expected. But as you can see, you take everything step by step, as I mentioned. Now, with watercolor, sometimes you just, like I say, you have to know when to stop. I could go back. Let's say I didn't like this. Let's say I wanted to get rid of all this blue and make the reflection come down further. I'd probably screw it up. So like I've said a lot of times in the past, you got to know when to stop. So we're going to stop right here. Episode number 5, we'll do the rocks down here, the rock wall, the gate. And I don't know, I might start with her face, bring this lady to life. That's going to be fun. This, of course, is the focal part, bringing this lady to life, putting her out in the windy fall pasture by the lake. I think it's going to be pretty good. So, everyone, have a wonderful day. Hi, it's me again, Steve Kruger, down here in my studio basement, and upcoming is episode number 5 in my series of a lady picking apples in a meadow. It's a windy day, so that's coming up. Here we go. All right, as I mentioned in my intro, this is episode 5, and this, the lady and the apples, the rocks, this is what's coming up on episode number 5. So, away we go. Okay, this is the beginning of episode 5. We're going to do the rocks. Off camera, I laid in some burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, a gray, to gray these slats. We didn't want these screaming white. And off camera, I dropped in this post. So we're going to do the rocks, and we're finally going to get to this lady. I don't know how far we're going to get. Okay, we got the fence, we got the post. Now you'll notice that I used my, I used my micro 500 pen, and let me just zero in here. Every place where there's a little V, I highlighted this, or I put in the ink to show where the dark parts are. So I did that. You can see that off camera. I did some rocks using burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, and I'll do a few more rocks. Now I've got videos on how to do rocks, so I don't want to bore you with that. I'll do a couple. In fact, right now I might as well do it. Let's do this one right here. Now we don't want these rocks to scream. We don't want them to be real white. We don't want them to be real dark. We want them to be just kind of gray. I'm mixing my ultramarine blue and burnt sienna to get a gray. So we'll just make it real dark down here. And see how this is wet, so everything is kind of diffusing. And we just do that. And we keep doing the rocks all the way across. One more. Let's do this one up here. Now these top ones you want to leave white, so her dress is going to really be highlighted when it comes up against this white. I think her dress is going to be a blue. I don't know what kind of blue, but that's what we're going to do. So, mixing burnt sienna, ultramarine blue. We'll come in. Rocks are usually dark at the bottom and light at the top. So you can bring this up like so, and then just blot, and there it's white. So I'll be back. The rocks are all in, everything's dry. Now let's look at the big picture. We're going to get to this lady, but I think I mentioned this in one of my previous episodes. As I said, this is episode 5. And if you've just gone to this episode, start with my episode number 1, and it walks you through all this, how to do the leaves, the sky, the barn, the meadow, this lake back here. But the rocks here, as I mentioned, as I said in one of my previous episodes, you want the eye, you don't want this rock wall going all the way across. That kind of blocks the picture. You want these slats, your eyes go through there. You look at the big picture here, all this going on, and then your eye flows to this Lake Michigan across here with some trees, colorful trees back there. Now I mentioned a lot of watercolor artists, the purists, say you shouldn't use pen and ink. There's definite rules in watercolor. As I've said before, there are no rules in art, especially in watercolor. Do whatever you feel like. Now, I mentioned this is my 005, not my 500, but it's my 005 ink pen. And look at how tiny that point is. So I've inked in the lady, kind of give a graphic arts look. Let me just show you. I'm just going to ink in right here. This is the, of course, the tab that holds her apron on. And here is the button. So I've inked in the whole lady. I think I've got it all. And we are going to, let me get the big picture. We're going to start with her face. I'm going to mix some skin tones. I'm going to start with her face, bring her alive. Her bare arm here, her bare arm here. And here's the big question. This is her little finger sticking out. I don't know if I'm going to leave that in or out. So I'll agonize over that for a while. I'll be back. Okay, now it's time to bring this lady to life. I have got a mixture. Let's do skin tones. I've got, whoops, wait a minute. I've got permanent rose and orange. And that's what we're going to use. So off to the side here, mixing the orange. And let's see what we got. That's kind of a good, well, that's maybe a little bit too red. Yeah, that's a good skin tone. So here we go. The trick is to lay it in real light, because you can always come back. I want to get closer. Let's get closer. There we go. That's a little too red. So we bring this, pardon my dog's barking, sorry about that. Okay. And this, her hair's going to be blonde, so she's a blonde farm girl. Okay, we're bringing her to life. As I mentioned, I'm mixing the orange, or the permanent rose and the cadmium orange. Now we'll do, she doesn't have much skin showing. So let's see, it'll be darker down here. We're just laying in. We can come in and put a little red in her cheeks, things like that. Okay, this is her shirt, her undershirt, so the skin starts, oops, that's a little bit too red. Where's my paper here? And we'll bring it down like so. You get the idea. Let's see, right there. The one thing you don't want to do with skin when you're doing this is to come in real dark right at first, because you can always darken it. So and we'll put that. Let's see, like so. All right, am I liking that? Yeah, we'll let that dry. All right, while her skin tone is drying, we're going to lay in some more. We're going to bring her to life a little bit more. This is too light, but while it's drying, I'm going to put in her, what would you call this? Her cap, her babushka, her whatever it is. She's got lots of hair, so this is holding her hair in. I'm going to put, see these round circles? It's going to be, her scarf up here is going to be red with white dots. So off camera, I'm going to lay in some masking fluid using a straw. Always use a straw. Never, never, never use a brush with masking fluid. Real quick, I'll just do one here. Let me zero in on that. We'll do this one up here. And this one here. And this one. Let's see here. Okay, so that's how you do your masking fluid. I'll progress off camera on that. My previous segment, I was zeroed in on her face, but I added a little bit more red down here. Sorry, I screwed up on that. So just a little bit more red, just to bring her to life. Okay, down there. Okay, the dogs must have seen a rabbit looking out the window, I guess, but sorry about that. Can't stop. Now this is going to dry a little lighter. At least I hope it does. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, it's a little bit too red. I'm going to add, this is yellow ochre right here, just a touch of yellow ochre, and then we better call it quits. And we'll put that down here. Yeah, I'm liking that. And let's put that right here. She's got a little tan going here. Feather that in like so. Now the face. Okay, and the arm right here. A little more yellow ochre. Feather that in. See how that looks. Yeah, we're going to call it quits on that. I don't want to make her any darker than that. And we'll put some shadow under here, and we'll shadow around here. Whoops. So, be back. This is dry now. We might put her scarf in now. All right. The blonde hair wasn't showing up that well, so I'm adding a little bit. What am I doing? I'm adding a little bit of raw sienna right here. And we'll see what we can do here. This kind of get a little contrast here. And back here against her neck. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Okay, she's looking kind of pale. It's a windy day, so I want to get her cheeks a little bit rosy. So what am I using? Cadmium Scarlet. I got that right there. So, real light. Boy, we don't want to mess this up. Let's just... wet her cheeks, just plain water. And just drop in a little bit. Cads, yeah, just diffuse that. Yeah, that's bringing her to life. And tip of her nose, maybe. Yeah, I'm liking that. Just a little bit. Okay, do we like that? Now while it's still wet, let me zero in. Just blot a little bit, right? We'll drop that. Okay. All right, now it's time for some shadows. I'm mixing, what did I have? I had Permanent Rose, which is this red, and this is Cobalt Blue, and I'm going to make a purple. I kind of like purple for the shadows. You could do Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Sienna. That makes a nice shadow. But here we go. I'm going to come right under like so. Because she's looking kind of plain right now. So that's what we need. We need okay, and we just kind of feather that. I wet the brush. Okay, let's zero in on that. So that's, yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, let's go back to this. Now we'll do a shadow back here. This is completely dry. And yeah, that's kind of cool. We can come back and make it darker if we want. Bring that shadow like so. Let's zero in on that. Okay, are we liking that? Let's go back. Let's make this a little darker. So I'm mixing my, let me show you that. That's my shadow. And put a little shadow down here. A little shadow up here. And let's zero in on that. Okay. Liking that, liking that. All right. Okay, I'm coming in a little, really dark here. And real dark here. Okay, yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, now it's time to do her scarf. And as you remember, I put masking fluid on all these round dots here. And I found I've got some pink, Taylor's pink. I don't know where I got that, but I'm mixing pink with permanent rose because I didn't want the red like the barn. So I'm kind of coming up with this color. This is the pink and this is the permanent rose. So let's make a go of it. This is kind of fun. So don't want to go outside the lines. Okay. Yeah, I could have made her scarf any color I wanted, but this is real delicate in here. Got to be careful. Am I in? Let's go in like so. Okay, there we go. Now I want to leave a little white along here. And we'll let this dry, and you can always come back and make it darker. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's kind of fun. She's coming to life. Okay, let's take a look at the big picture. We're just about finished with this. I'm going to wrap this up. I spent, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes just talking about how to bring her skin tones to life. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking a little burnt sienna right here and just kind of bringing this this basket to life. I won't do all that on camera. I'll do that off camera. Now, one thing while I'm at it, I'm taking masking fluid and these apples. I'll just do 1 or 2 apples, but let me show you to bring an apple to life. You do a little, let me zero in on that. Let's get it. I'm just putting little dots of masking fluid, and this is going to be the highlight. When I paint over this masking fluid, I'll paint red. I'll drop a little bit of green in. When I scrape it off, I'm going to have this white dot here, and that will be the reflection coming in and showing a highlight on the apples. Okay, as I said, we're getting close to the end of this episode. And remember, I put masking fluid on these circles on her scarf. So we're bringing those to life using one of these erasers. This is designed to pick up masking fluid. So let's zero in on that. Yeah, that's, now if they're too white, you know, if they're screaming at you, you can always lighten them up with a little gray, burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, just to gray them up. But I'll take a look at that and decide. They are kind of screaming, so I might have to do something on that. Now, let's see, I've got to finish this up. Let's bring these apples to life. Got Fire Engine Red. Where is it? This is Fire Engine Red, and this is a spring green of some sort. So let's I'm going to leave this spot right here. I'm going to put a little green in there. But you don't want to mix this green. You want this red to be dry when you put the green in, because you don't want the green and the red to mix. Okay, so we'll make it real. And I'll do one more. Let's see, let's do this one down here. And I don't want to bore you by doing all these apples. So I'll do that off camera. Then we'll zero in, we'll take a look at it. And the next episode, episode 6, hopefully will be the last. We'll do her dress, bring it all together. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and this is the end of episode 5. I decided not to do the dress. We'll wait and do that on episode number 6 because that would make it too long. So I used some spring green and fire engine red to do the apples, and I'll show you how that looks. Let's zero in. Okay, so now remember, I did some let's see, let me get this. I did some masking fluid to do the highlights. Now they are screaming, so I'm using a scrubber brush, and we're going to kind of dull those out just a little bit. Okay, that's good. Now, one other thing, let's see, where's my, here it is. Now, to accentuate, you know, the top of the apple, we'll just do that. Do that around there and around there. Okay, that's looking good. Now I might take a brush with fire engine red and just make this a little bit smaller. Just put a little more fire engine red around there. But you get the idea. I like to put the green in with the apple. Gives it with the red apple. Kind of a good look. Now I also came along with burnt sienna and did a shadow under here. And what else? Oh yeah, one last thing. Let's say, let me zero in again. Let's say these are too white. Just come along with plain water. And I'm just running the brush over these circles. And that kind of, well, there we go. That pushes them back so they don't scream. Okay, this is it. Episode number 6 coming up. I hope you're having fun. This is Trials and Tribulations. Kind of a leap of faith on all this, to do this live. And, you know, with watercolor, you sometimes screw up, and you've seen that. I've screwed up in a few places, and I've showed you some techniques, and hopefully that's of interest. So everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful day. All right, we have finally come to the end of this series. This is video number 6, a series of 1 through 6. walking you through how I created this painting. And I gotta admit, I struggled, and you're gonna see my struggles. If you, well, I suggest you go to my video number 1 on this series of a woman with apples. It's kind of fun. It's kind of long. You know, you can slide through some of it if it gets a little boring, but I'll walk you through showing you how I changed my mind on the leaves, changed my mind and decided to put in a branch here. Had to darken this. I struggled here getting the reflections in the water. The most fun that I had was putting in this meadow. Now, off camera, I did the dress. This is a turquoise. So I laid in a light wash of turquoise and then came in after it dried and put in dark turquoise to make the shadow. So that's kind of easy. You can figure out how to do that. I didn't do that on camera. Now, to give you a little teaser, I'm going to circle you back to my video number 1, the very first part of it, just to let you know how this is progressing and how I started. So, be right back. You're going to see me demonstrate the leaves and the sky in episode number 1, and then I'm going to cut it off. We're going to start with the face. Let me show that. I'm going to start with the face and then start doing the leaves and the sky. So, all right, here's my idea. I'm going to have a lady here. Could be my mom back in the 30s. She used to pick apples during the fall, and it's going to be a fall scene. So I don't know about her face. I did have, I had it turned looking at me, but it's going to be sideways. So here we go. Apples, and she's going to have a flowing dress. And this is going to be a fall scene with fall leaves here and maybe trees back here. Okay, I'm back. Time to close this out and say goodbye. But before we do that, let me zero in. I'm just going to, let's start with the top, just so you can get a close-up. We got the leaves. I used an ink pen to highlight, put some black, some dark in. And let me just slowly move this up. Good shot of the face, gave her nice rosy cheeks. She's out, this is a fall day. She's picking apples. I struggled with this barn here. Okay, the meadow, the little picket fence, the rocks, and that is it. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful, wonderful day.